One. Hello and welcome to Good Morning Thailand. I'm Jay, this is Tim, and we're at Phuket International Airport on our way to Bangkok, like we said we were.
So, yeah, it's really busy here.
I mean, it's packed.
Like, I think there's 3 other people here. One of them's the cleaner.
Yeah,
We have to wear our masks,
we do.
but we might poke out every now and then and say hello.
Oh, naughty Tim, how dare you.
So, now you had a bit of fun when you arrived.
Not so much. Well, in our flight,
You'll never guess what
I'm
happened.
not going to say what airline this is, but there's probably about 3
Vietjet.
There's about 3 people in this airline.
Oh, do you? You
Sorry,
bumped the camera.
I bumped the camera. Well, there's 3 people in this flight, and for some reason, it's my fault, I guess.
Well, just get to the
I'm gonna take
crux.
They basically made me pay for excess baggage,
Of course,
because
you're overweight.
by 2 kgs, yes. But the best part is
Not you. Your luggage was overweight.
my luggage was overweight,
Yeah,
and myself. But my bag was 2 kgs overweight, but they made me pay for 20 because apparently that's the minimum.
So, well, you got your mother in there as well.
Well, I couldn't keep her away. I mean, it's too difficult trying to argue with her, so I was just like, okay, let's go with it.
So Jay's got a bag with 17 kilograms available if anybody wants to send anything up to Bangkok.
I felt like she was the meanest lady I've ever met.
I just walked in, went through security. I don't even think they looked at my vaccine
Yeah,
certificate.
Oh, they didn't even ask for mine.
Yeah, so
They didn't
it's
ask.
been very easy, the whole process.
Yeah.
Now, about that, and I'm going to be doing this all the way through.
Wait, sorry. Before, by the way, I'm very well aware that she was just doing her job and the airline was doing her job and their safety rules, so good on them. I'm just whinging because I can.
He bitched and moaned about this for 10 minutes when he arrived. So, another interesting thing about Phuket, which of course has been the sandbox and sort of the crux of the reopening of Thailand, they've just announced that from October the 16th,
Yes.
that you won't require a PCR or rapid antigen test coming back to Phuket. So this was going to be an issue for us who were coming back to Phuket in a few weeks or a few months. Oh my God, we're going to have to get that thing stuck up our nose. Well, apparently we don't.
Okay.
So that's from October the 16th. You won't require a rapid antigen test or PCR test, but you'll need to be fully vaccinated or have had COVID-19 within the last 90 days.
Okay.
So that's the new situation. You'll read more about that at thetiger.com today.
All right. That's great. That's great news.
Speaking of vaccines,
Oh God, vaccines. Right. So the Pfizer vaccine. So what happened
got
over?
my notes here.
Yeah.
We're sharing the
My
one
notes.
laptop.
Yeah. What happened over the weekend was that basically teenage groups and teenagers specifically on the Line app decided to campaign against the Pfizer vaccine, claiming that it was a tool that the government was using to basically kill the young,
Eradicate them.
kill the students.
Those teenagers, those ruffians, those scallywags.
Yeah, so they thought this was a government plot to silence them once and for all. And what it created was just
Pandemonium.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just created havoc, not only for the students, but also, there were parents who found news of this and they were like, oh my God, is this true? I'm not going to give consent for my child to go get killed. How dare they? What's going on?
But so do we know where it came from? Did it come from just like students playing a prank, a very, very bad prank? Or has it come from...
I don't believe it's actually
Something-
a prank. Maybe it was conspiracy theorists or just,
Yes.
the mistrust in the government is so high in the younger generation that they just couldn't believe that they were getting a vaccine.
Or has it sort of come from overseas with people trying to destabilise the situation in Thailand?
Could be possibly, but the main the campaigners were Thai students and was coming within Thailand.
We should say at the outset that this is fake news.
Yes.
The Pfizer vaccine is perfectly safe. You need 2 of the Pfizer vaccines.
That's right.
The amount of people who have had bad reactions to it or even death is extremely statistically low. And as we know, with all these vaccines, you're still much, much more likely to die or get sick from COVID than you will from the vaccines.
Yeah.
That's statistically the fact. Over the weekend, I was looking up how many people in the world have now been fully vaccinated. Take a guess. How many people in the world?
1.8 billion.
Well, you're on the right track. 2.6 billion people.
Okay.
So when people say, "Oh, this is just an experimental vaccine," 2.6 billion people is not an experiment. Well, if it is, fair play to you. It's a very, very big experiment.
Yeah.
So now, when we say we're going to have a break,
Yes.
what we're meaning is that you may get a YouTube advertisement
At this point.
or you might just see us disappear for a couple of seconds, then come straight back. So it can be, somebody was complaining, "You keep on saying you're going for a break, but you never do." So he said,
You might not.
he has paid to get the YouTube ads removed.
Oh, okay.
What do you call that? Remove the ads. Anyway, he's paid for that. So I said, "Well, of course you're not getting any
He's got
ads."
YouTube Premium. Okay.
YouTube Premium, that's the one.
That's right.
I'm going to be. I'm squeezing my thing, but it still keeps on falling down. So we're
that
going to
nose
take.
job you did didn't work properly.
They should put a little sort of pin there so I can go.
Yeah. You can get that done now. In Thailand, anything's possible. We have great plastic surgery.
Didn't work on me.
He's taking off his mask. Look at this rebel.
Shut up. So we're going to take a break, and then it may not be a break. We might just disappear for a couple of seconds.
Okay.
Bye.
Welcome back from the break. This is Jay and Tim. This is the Phuket International episode special episode.
And it's so busy here. Is anybody? Oh, there's a few stragglers
Oh my
coming.
God. Yeah.
Hope they're not sitting near us.
We
What
just
seat
saw-
did you get, by the way?
18F, I believe.
Oh, yeah. So you're on the other side.
Am I?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
we're on 18A and C because the airlines at this stage are only allowed to fly 75% capacity. Although there was another announcement over the weekend from not the double CSA, the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand, CAAT, that airlines will be able to be full from this week. So yeah, it looks like people are starting to fly again. Today on the airline we're flying with, there are only 3 flights to Phuket, but I think by even the end of this week, certainly next week, we're going to see the amount of flights doubling and then tripling and slowly getting back to a situation where there's just a lot of flights available again. Now the Phuket Tourism Authority at the moment have put their hands out. They're saying, "Oh, woe is us, we need money." How much are they asking for? 5 billion baht.
Oh, wow.
That they want to spend on tourism to try and attract people to come back to the island.
Okay.
The thing about the sandbox is they started the sandbox on July the 1st at the same time as Thailand went through this sort of third wave, the big surge. So they locked off Phuket to domestic tourists. So the only people coming in were international. The bottom line was that Phuket didn't really have any extra tourists coming here because there were no domestic tourists. But now the government says, look, we want Thais to travel. So let's look for a lot of, subsidies for people to travel locally. And I think we're going to see, well, if they spend 5 billion baht on trying to bring people into the island, we're going to see a lot of advertising, including the ad we saw the other day
For
the come back to Thailand.
Oh, yes. More amazing than ever.
Via the New York subway
Yes.
or whatever happened there.
And Wales.
So that was interesting that they're going to they want some money for another one for investment in improving the tourism destination and environment.
Okay. They want to do a touch-up worth billions.
There has been, if you think about it, quite a lot of little projects happening around Phuket, like roadworks and touch-ups, and there's new pavements. I've seen more of the cables going underground. So they haven't just been sitting on their hands waiting for people to come back. They've been actually making some changes.
Yeah, but I like the fact that they've actually come out and said that they're going to spend at least a little money to make some improvements, because yes, they do need improvements, and the fact that they've actually come out and said it, hopefully they'll do it so that they don't lose face, So I think this is only going to be good for Thailand and Thailand tourism. I mean, I don't know whether they're going to get that much amount of money if they'll be allowed to borrow that much amount of money. What do you think? Do you think they'd actually get approved?
Oh, they just want the government to hand it to them.
Okay.
This is going to be interesting because there are another 76 provinces in Thailand, and they're all going to be saying to the government, we need money to help attract people. But Phuket had this particular problem because of its huge reliance on tourism. So yeah, it is a bit of a special case. Our friend Bumkiti,
Yes.
Bumkit, I think in Thai, who is the president of the Phuket Tourist Association, has said the key thing is to simplify the regulations for overseas tourism. So still,
Yes.
as of today, you still need a certificate of entry, you need all the paperwork, you need the insurance, $100,000 value of insurance. So this is, I think, the sort of thing that we just need to get rid of. And of course, from November, there's the issue about quarantine, which takes us into that quarantine issue. Where is it?
We don't know.
What's going to happen on November the 1st?
Well, in November the 1st, our government spokesperson came out yesterday and said that by November the 1st, if the 5 provinces that were to open will open only if there's no further COVID-19 infection cluster within that time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it looks like, and there's 5 areas in the country that are going to open, and now they've added some new ones as well.
Yes. So if there are no clusters by November 1st in those 5 regions, which include Bangkok, Chiang Mai, then they will fully reopen.
So that's, well, we still don't know what's going to happen on November the 1st. The idea of quarantine-free travel to the country, I think, is a really big one.
Yeah.
And a lot of people
Yeah.
hanging out for that.
Did you hear over the weekend? Hua Hin had one cluster, unfortunately. They had one in a market, one of their most famous markets. They had it, and it's been shut down now for 3 days
For deep cleaning.
for deep cleaning.
And once they're finished there, they can come down to my house too. Not that
Yeah.
we've got COVID, but it needs a deep clean.
When asked why did they not shut down the market immediately when they found out about the cluster, they said, "Oh, we wanted to give the seafood vendors time to get their seafood out, so it took a bit longer to shut it down."
This is the hottest coffee. I've waited for about 15 minutes for this to cool down.
What kind of coffee is this?
Cafe? It's not unlike our sponsors' coffee.
Exactly. It's not coffee culture, because unfortunately we weren't able to carry our coffee makers with us to the
Our
airport.
coffee filter.
Yeah.
But this is, it's okay. But it was so hot. You could have roasted a pig over this coffee half an hour ago. Speaking of coffee culture,
Speaking of coffee culture.
did you put, that was your excess luggage, putting
That's
those
right. If
coffee
only,
culture
if
mugs.
only I knew I was going to be paying for excess luggage, I would have bought all the coffee culture bags, because that's what's important. Because you can find your roast coffee and ground coffee from across Thailand at www.coffeeculture.asia. So find your roast of coffee over there, as well as our beautiful mugs that we don't have currently, but you know what we're talking about. You can find our beautiful mugs on coffeeculture.asia.
This is not a coffee culture
And
Asia.
we're very disappointed with this coffee, because we're just used to having nice and amazing coffee from Coffee Culture. So
At least it was brown.
at least.
So we're going to have another quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk about squids.
Squids. Everybody loves squids. Be back in 2. And welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Thailand. I'm Jay. This is Tim. We're at Phuket International Airport, and it's now time to talk about squids.
Have you watched The Squid Game? It's a
Yes.
Netflix series. You watched the whole thing.
I've watched the whole thing.
Give us a 30-second critique and quick storyline.
Okay, so basically what Squid Game is, it's a Netflix series, it's a Korean series, just out recently, and it is gone viral. I mean, it's like the #1 show, not just in Netflix Thailand, but they were on The Tonight Show over the weekend. Jimmy Fallon was interviewing them, and they're one of the biggest Netflix shows ever.
Korea's taking over with
Exactly.
music and drama.
And what Squid Game is about is basically it's preying on people's desperation. So it's about I think like 500 or 400 people who have been brought together, and they've got to play a bunch of games, and whoever survives at the end wins a giant jackpot of money. And it's like to show like the greed of humanity and what lengths people are willing to go to get out of their debts and pay off their money.
The key thing and the controversial thing is that to win the game, other people have to die.
That's right.
And they, in some cases, have to kill those people.
That's also correct.
So they can win.
Yes, and it is gruesome, it is grotesque, it's extremely violent. It's like watching a Tarantino film, but for 10 episodes in a row.
I watched about half an hour of one episode, and I said to my housemate, I said, I'm sorry, I can't watch this. I don't like watching people killing other humans. The same thing was like in Hunger Games. I know Hunger Games was made for teenagers, and you didn't see anything explicit in the Hunger Games, but the whole premise of killing other people so that you can win a game, to me, it's unsettling to me.
Okay.
And I don't think that it's good for people to. I'm sounding like
You're right. Look,
I'm sounding very old-fashioned.
It is restricted, you know. It is for audiences above 18, and I feel like in this current generation of kids, or even my generation, we're not even sensitive to this amount of violence. Like, I watched the series and I was like, yes, this is very violent, this is very grotesque, and I was like, oh my god, but I wasn't disgusted. I was like, oh, this feels normal now. You know, like, we've gone from like Die Hard movies to now Squid Game, where it's like, I mean, where do we draw the line? The violence, Tim, in these series were so bad that the police actually had to come out and warn parents and people about the violence in the movie. So I believe the police colonel, his name is...
here we go, just scrolling back up.
Oh, yeah.
This guy here, Tanet.
No, that's
No,
not
that's
him.
another
That's
story.
not him.
It wasn't Tanet.
That's not him. It was Police Corporal Police Corporal Kisana Patana Sharon. Right, and he came out and said, basically warned parents about, hey, there's a lot of violence in these series. You should not be letting your kids watch this, and it's going to promote violence even.
Well, when I was growing up, we used to watch Warner Brothers cartoons.
And that's what I was about to ask you. Like, how bad does it have to be that police have to come out and warn parents and children that don't watch this? And during your time, what was the show that, you know, did you ever get a warning like this when you were a kid? Like, your parents told you, Tim, don't ever watch this ever again?
Well, that would have guaranteed that I'd watch it.
Okay.
But more than that, it was things like the Warner Brothers cartoons where the coyote's trying to kill the road runner, and they fall off a cliff and they get back up again, and there's violence and they shoot each other, and it's all for entertainment. So each generation has had to sort of go through its how do you cope with violence. The other thing now, of course, is that all these video games are all about chasing people and shooting them, and I'm not sure if it's healthy.
Okay.
But here we are. The Thai government have warned people about Squid Game.
Squid Game.
And if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert.
Squid Game.
I don't actually know what happens in the end, so I can't tell you. Somebody probably wins.
Someone does win.
Okay, so to the next one, and this is a poll. And sorry that we're sort of rushing a bit today, but we've got to go and catch a plane. They did a NIDA poll over the weekend, and they were asking people, what do you think about the Prime Minister coming back for another term when they probably hold an election later next year? How many people thought the Prime Minister probably... I'm not going to let you see.
Okay.
How many people said the Prime Minister needs to step down?
Ooh, I think quite a majority of people would have. I'm guessing above 70.
No. Surprising, 41%
Really?
of people believe that Prime Minister Prayut should commit to stepping down by August next year.
Wait, sorry, is this poll, is it amongst our subscribers or in Thailand?
No, this is right across Thailand.
Oh, right across Thailand, okay. Yeah, I would say it was close to 50 if it was right across Thailand.
Very, very, very few of our subscribers, I think, have the power to vote.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about a vote for, the tiger community.
And 38% believe the Constitutional Court needs to rule on the issue as quickly as possible, because how long has the Prime Minister served? Under the Constitution, he can't serve more than 8 years.
Yes.
But did his term start on the coup in 2014? Did it start in 2017 when they had the new constitution?
Or 2019.
When he was actually given the position of Prime Minister.
And that's what people are arguing currently.
Yeah. So that's Monday as we see it, all the main stories that you probably need to concern yourself about.
That's right.
We'll probably have all the latest details at thetiger.com. Thetiger.com. And I'm going to hurriedly edit this and upload it because we've got to get on a plane.
All right. We hope you have a good Monday, and we hope you've enjoyed the show. A crazy show today from Phuket International Airport. We'll let you know how our flight went and how many people were there at the airport, and give you a real idea of how things are going on here. Until then, I guess we'll see you tomorrow. We hope you have a great day.